Any fragrance that gets a full-fledged review on the Robes 08 channel gets a fair shake from yours truly. Hype train or not, I'm going to give you guys the nuts and bolts of the fragrance, the good with the ugly. And I'll let you guys know my honest opinion on a particular fragrance. Doesn't matter if it's hyped or not. You guys know I don't follow trends. Let's get into Le Male Popeye Eau Fraiche. What's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to another Robes 08 fragrance review. Today I'm going to put my nose on the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier and a series that you guys know I know full well. This is one of their yearly summer flankers. It's called Le Male Eau Fraiche, and this is the Popeye edition. So there is something a little different with this one that they did in the past, so I can't wait to delve into it. Let's go. Le Male Popeye Eau Fraiche hit the shelves in 2016. Bottle size is what you see here, is what you're going to get, a 4.2 ounce bottle. Concentrations eau de toilette. Flankers, this is of course a flanker to the original Le Male. It is discontinued and pricing online varies. You can go as low as $40 online and it's going right up to the $100 mark, give or take, or a little higher than that. My personal recommendation, do not pay over $100 for this fragrance. Go search out the Superman series or the 2018 series. Now the nose behind this one is Nathalie Graciasetto. This one sold very, very well for Jean-Paul Gaultier. So they brought this fragrance back, of course, in 2017, rebranding it Eau Fraiche Superman Edition. She's the nose behind that, of course, because the juice hasn't changed. And from my sources, the 2018 fragrance of Eau Fraiche also is tagged to Nathalie Graciasetto. And I hear through the grapevine that it hasn't changed either. So don't take my word for it. But if you are looking for the Popeye edition, of course, the Superman edition is the same thing as far as scent goes. So perhaps this one is more expensive than the Superman and so on and so forth. So definitely do your research. If you really want the juice inside of this bottle and don't really care about Popeye, then you can perhaps get it cheaper with the Superman edition or the 2018 edition. So keep that in mind when shopping around if this fragrance seems interesting to you, because of course Popeye edition has been discontinued because it was a limited edition. Fun fact, Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Summer Eau Fraiche editions have been released since the late 90s. So this is not a new theme. Every single year they've changed the bottle and made a fragrance that was an Eau Fraiche version of the original Le Male. So let's get into the note breakdown of this one and see what it gives me. In the opening, very, very fresh notes, neroli, mint, and aldehydes. Mint, of course, in the original Le Male. Mid, we got sage, clary sage, woody notes, and ambrox. And the base, we have vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Major notes to this nose right here are mint and vanilla, which were in the original Le Male. You're going to get a lot of that. And of course, lavender, which is not in this fragrance, has been replaced with the clary sage and the ambrox. So I can't wait to see what that mid or that heart's going to give me. Now, group, this is an aromatic fougere. How many sprays and where? I do my one on the chest, two on the neck. So one here, and then two on the arms, one here. And of course, one here. 5 sprays is what I do with Popeye Eau Fraiche. Now, before I delve into this composition, I'm very much intrigued with this release because Popeye itself, Eau Fraiche is not a new idea from Le Male, and this one received much more press than its predecessors. So I really want to see what this does on my skin. So as a Le Male fanboy, and you guys know me, I have tried several Eau Fraiche series. I own, I believe, 3 in my collection. I stopped kind of collecting these because, and you'll see why in this fragrance review. I don't have to let you know. So let's delve into Popeye Eau Fraiche. Let's do 2 sprays on my hand here and remind me of this introduction. So Eau Fraiche series, with my recollection of this series, it's really a skeleton of the original Le Male. The sweetness is there and they try to amp up the freshness. It's kind of watered down Le Male. The thing that kind of kills this idea, it's a good idea, but the sweetness is just too much for high heat in the summer. So this is kind of a tweener as a fragrance because of the sweetness. And the thing with that is Le Male's already a tweener, so I don't really need that. I wish they amped down the sweetness quite a bit with these Eau Fraiche series, but I digress. Let's get into the scent. Let's smell this one. And oh, right off the bat, Eau Fraiche Popeye edition really delivers in that freshness. And somewhere in there is that Le Male DNA peeking through. Very, very invigorating, beautiful introduction. These Eau Fraiches, in my personal opinion, this is my third Eau Fraiche in my collection, never really made much sense to me. They're fresher, yes. However, they maintain the sweetness of the original, which kind of defeats the purpose of wearing this during the high heat of the summer. This is more of a spring scent to me, in my personal opinion. Now, the theme here is freshness meets sweetness. The opening gives me that familiar mint from the original Le Male, kind of amped up. This is paired with aldehydes, really nice, which gives this fragrance kind of a sparkle. It's almost champagne-like, that aldehyde gives a fragrance. It's almost bubbly champagne-like. A really nice trick to fragrances to make them a little more uplifting. Aldehydes also gave this scent some soapy qualities. It also gives it a lemony, citrus-like opening. So some people that smell citruses in this fragrance in the opening, that's where you're getting it from, that of course, and the neroli. But the citruses, of course, kind of fade quite quickly in this fragrance, but the aldehydes does give that soapy, champagne, bubbly, lemony-like scent. You know, the neroli itself also plays a role in this opening. Almost, I won't say familiar as a scent profile as aldehydes, because it's not, but they also play very well with each other, because not only does neroli give a soapy quality to fragrances, but it also gives citruses, and same with aldehydes. So really interesting that these two play together with the mint. I'm really giving this scent a white, minty green, and a bubbly champagne-like opening. Very interesting. I truly love these notes dancing together in this opening, and are really a good reason why people gravitate towards this scent in the opening of the fragrance. Now, the sweetness in this fragrance here is a little amped up for me personally. For what it's designed for, I liked it. I kind of like the sweetness turned down a bit to emphasize the brighter aspects of the scent, because it's an Eau Fraiche version. The sweetness is kind of bubblegummy, kind of childish. It does give this scent a playful character. I felt it took away something from the opening, but that's just me. I really felt like the aldehydes, the neroli, and of course the mint did a fabulous job in Eau Fraiche, but it isn't a Le Male if it doesn't have some sweetness to the fragrance, and this has it. Unfortunately for Eau Fraiche, I'd love something a little more, I'm not saying a little more linear, but maybe a little more stripped down. That's something usually I don't say in fragrance reviews, but that is something that I felt was a downfall to these Eau Fraiche series. It's the same with the older ones. They have some sweetness to them. Within the heart to the deep dry down of Le Male Eau Fraiche Popeye edition, it decided to move away from, the lavender heart from the original Le Male and replace it with ambrox and clary sage. Clary sage is herbaceous note. It smells like lavender, so it's a good replacement. And some people still smell lavender in this one. That's why, clary sage. And clary sage also has an ambery nuance here that is felt in Eau Fraiche. The ambrox does play a large role in Popeye Eau Fraiche. To the Sauvage fanboys, listen here, this may be right up your alley. If you like Sauvage, you're probably going to like this. If you like Invictus, you're probably going to like this. The ambrox also plays a very big part in Eau Fraiche in the heart. It takes the major role that the lavender had in the original and makes it its own. It gives the scent a clean, fresh, musky, laundry-like smell, and it has a slightly salty tone. This gives Eau Fraiche mildly kind of an aquatic tone to the fragrance. It's very mild as far as the aquatic tone to this fragrance. There's woods in here, but they're very faint, not worth really mentioning. The tonka bean and vanilla sweetness amp up in here, and the vanilla will be your backbone to end the scent. The sweetness in this fragrance holds the scent with the ambrox and the clary sage, and Eau Fraiche starts losing its brightness from the opening and starts being more of a fresh, sweet scent that lost its beautiful mint, and of course also lost part of its aldehydes and neroli. So it kind of amps away that beautiful brightness that I loved in the opening of this fragrance, darkens it a little bit more, and brings up that sweetness, and that ambrox comes through. like a freight train. Overall, Eau Fraiche has success because it takes the note of mint, which is kind of getting a mini hype in our fragrance community, and the overhyped and overutilized Ambrox, which is a hype beast right now, to make this a winner for many out there that are getting into this fragrance game of ours. I loved how Natalie utilized familiar notes of the original and took different notes to continue on to the theme of Le Mans, replacing, of course, lavender with the clary sage and the Ambrox, keeping the mint, keeping the vanilla. So kind of keeping a little bit of that DNA in here. This fragrance, to me personally, is top heavy as a fragrance. And you guys know, if you've been subscribed to my channel, I'm not a huge fan of top heavy scents. They're there to sell. This is what top heavy scents are. It smells great, 10 out of 10. That is not a whole fragrance. Give me 5 hours. Come back to me. It's gone? Oh, well, that's a top heavy fragrance. And that's what this type of scent is. And I don't appreciate those type of fragrances because they're asking $90 for this type of fragrance. Not a good deal. So it's a top heavy fragrance that will get you reactions in the very first few hours, but fizzles quite quickly on my skin. It's not a scent to take too seriously, and I don't. It has some drawbacks, just like the long line of Eau Fraiches, but it has some redeeming qualities too. So there's some good with the bad, of course. As a summer scent, it's okay. It's okay as a summer scent. Nothing groundbreaking here. However, the real draw here is that you can wear this in the cooler months, which I actually prefer. It did make my top 10 spring list for a reason, because I can wear this in the cooler months. I'm wearing it now. There's snow on the ground and it works very well. Of course, there's some drawbacks to it as far as longevity and projection. I'm going to get to that. But the scent itself works actually very, very well in the cooler months, especially these tweener months, which is spring and fall. This type of fragrance kind of invigorates you during those months, and at the same time with of course, the mint and the aldehydes, but it also has that vanilla ambrox in the mid, which works so well in this spring. Recommended age, anybody can wear this. Of course, it's trending towards the younger crowds, of course, but I can see an older gentleman wearing this, kind of just something to spray on, very playful, easy to wear. This is the type of fragrance that I could see that. But also people that are just getting into this hobby, that just started their collection and they're going through the hype phase. They have their bottle of Popeye, their bottle of Sauvage by Christian Dior, and their bottle of Invictus right beside it, and that's their collection, not knowing that they all smell alike. Oh, gotcha. I know ya. So, but I digress. Yes, it is towards any age group for this particular fragrance. Fragrances that reminds me of this, of course, the rest of the Eau Fraiches that have followed this, the Superman one, Eros by Versace. If you like that one, you're probably going to like this one. Best time to wear this fragrance. This is a daily driver, but hold on. It also can be worn at nights. I love wearing this, not date nights, you know, with my wife, but date nights, it can work very, very well. So don't think that this is just a daily fragrance. Seasons, summer, yeah, just not in the super high heat. I really can't emphasize it that much. I really don't like this one in the high heat. Spring day, perfect. Spring night, perfect. Even fall day. This is one of those fragrances that can almost be like a signature scent, kind of, sort of. Development, linear, average, or complex, going towards more linear to average. I mean, it doesn't have that much development to it. Work appropriate, it can be, but it is fairly playful. So it won't last your whole work day, I'll be honest with you, and we're gonna get into that. Signature scent worthy. It's a limited edition fragrance that has been discontinued. Again, 2017-18 editions can continue going. So it kind of limits you as a signature. If you're looking for this as being your signature 10 years from down the line, probably not going to happen. So let's get into the rating system for Popeye Eau Fraiche. Projection, 5 bottles out of 10. It's very strong off the bat. Then it's a skin scent. It really has a few hours of push to it, and that's where you're gonna get all these people that just spray it on and go, it smells great. But then it goes more skin. Longevity, 4 bottles out of 10. This thing does not last. Like all Eau Fraiches, or most of them, they really don't last on my skin. I'm getting 3 to 5 hours on my skin with this one. Compliment factor, 9 bottles out of 10. Yes, you are going to get almost a perfect score here. it does get compliments within those few hours, of course. Some of you may have different type of skin, so you may have a little better as far as longevity and projection on this one, but for me it was a compliment factor within the small scope that it lasted on my skin. It did very well. Uniqueness, 4 bottles out of 10. Not a very unique fragrance per se. It really utilizes a lot of notes du jour, utilizing the old Le Male DNA, kind of morphing it a little bit to make it its own. Actually quite interesting, but not a unique fragrance. Pricing versus what you get. 5 bottles out of 10. The pricing just keeps going up and up on this fragrance because of the hype train it had. I don't think it's worthy at all. This is not one of those fragrances that I would recommend. Anybody that trusts me, I would not recommend you to pay more than $100 on this fragrance. And that kind of hype train, you're going to get these type of fragrances for 150 bucks. Pff, you can find a better way to spend your 150. Versatility, 6 bottles out of 10. A little above average. It's not just a summer scent. It actually is a little versatile. Smell, 7 bottles out of 10. I like it. I don't love it. And I think that's a worthy score for the scent that it gives me. And that goes to an overall score. Le Male. I'm a Le Male fanboy. Yes, I am. And Popeye Eau Fraiche series. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't hit that Richter scale of a 9 or a 10. It's not even sniffing that. It is at a 6 bottles out of 10. It really has a lot of drawbacks in this fragrance, but it does have some good redeeming qualities, but quite a bit of drawbacks, and it is getting a 6 bottles out of 10. And that goes to buy, try, or pass. Eau Fraiche Popeye edition will be a try. It all depends where you are in your journey, what you like. If you do like Invictus and you like Sauvage and you like where this designer, this modern designer Bleu de Chanel's are going, this may be right up your alley. For me, this is just following the trend, to be quite honest. So it might be one of those that is skippable. Again, the projection longevity is not very good with this fragrance. There's a lot of drawbacks to it. So you got to be careful on hype train fragrances like this and kind of purchase at your own risk. So thank you for watching my review on Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Popeye Eau Fraiche edition. And as always, I'd love to hear your take on this particular fragrance, especially since it had a hype train. It's going to get polarizing comments, which are very high. People are going to be saying this is a 10 out of 10. Mark, you're crazy at giving this a 6. And then there's going to be other people that do see what I see with this fragrance. So I can't wait to see those comments. And as always, a great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching.